Drake and Josh's series finale, Really Big Shrimp, terrifyingly premiered 17 years ago, and my mind always goes back to this episode whenever I think about the show. And even though I remember the episode, I certainly don't remember it being the conclusion to the entire series. It's also a pseudo-sequel to Drake and Josh Go Hollywood, which I just covered in my previous video. So I decided it was time for a rewatch to see if Drake and Josh Really Big Shrimp is a worthy finale to such an iconic series. The special starts with a typical introduction for a Drake and Josh episode, except this is kind of a callback to the first episode where it's almost as if they're introducing themselves for the first time ever. Now we see an establishing shot of the premiere where one of the movies playing is Now She's Carly. I do think it's pretty cute that they left a little iCarly Easter egg in the finale of Drake and Josh. You know, I'm gonna say it. I like it. At the premiere, Josh is supposed to be working, but he's actually scarfing down an enchilada. How the fuck do you say that word? Josh is busy committing time theft, eating instead of working. That's the point. And it turns out that Josh actually found this enchilada. Enchilada? The food Josh was eating actually belonged to Crazy Steve, and Josh just pulled it out of the break room fridge himself and decided to eat it. What kind of manners is that? I would never in a million years go to my place of work and take some food out of the fridge and just eat it. The hell, Josh? Once Crazy Steve arrives and notices Josh eating his food, he just stares at him. Josh freaks the hell out, and Steve just says he understands. He reveals that he actually got a psychologist that says he can only freak out 4 times each day, and now's not the time. Craig and Eric ask Josh where to put the microphone stand, and he just says leave it right where it is. And that was pointless. Josh goes on to yap about how Drake's performing a song at the movie theater tonight, and that Josh got the famous record producer to fly in from New York to watch Drake perform and maybe give him a record deal. And the record producer Josh is referencing is actually a connection he made during the movie Drake and Josh Go Hollywood. I love it. I love that this connects to Drake and Josh Go Hollywood. I love that it's like a pseudo sequel to the movie a year later. I absolutely love it. Out of nowhere, Crazy Steve's watch starts buzzing and it's time. He grabs an old man's cane and goes after Josh. Now, no one feel bad for Josh, not even for a second. He ate his food out of the fridge without even having a second thought. He didn't even care. That's maniac behavior. The intro begins to play, and I don't know, it feels a little bit weird that there's a regular intro. I know it's the series finale, but to me it feels almost like a movie, so it's a little disappointing. I don't know. Josh is trying to fix the corn dog machine for his manager Helen, but he can't seem to get it quite right. Drake and Josh's family then show up to the theater and tell Helen how excited they are that she's getting married. Drake and Josh's father, Walter, then opens his fat mouth and invites Helen's mom to stay at their house so she has a place to stay and can go to the wedding. He doesn't converse with his family first. He doesn't even ask them if it's okay. This guy's gonna be in the doghouse. Mindy, Josh's ex-girlfriend and academic rival, shows up and fixes the hot dog machine within seconds. And it's a corn dog machine, not a hot dog machine, I'm sorry. Drake's busy tuning up his instruments for the big show, and Josh introduces him to Krim from the record label. Krim tells Drake not to screw it up and then orders a corn dog. First off, those corn dogs were sitting in that machine turned off and unheated for a very long time. They are probably disgusting. Second off, telling someone not to screw something up is a pretty rude thing to do. This guy seems like an asshole. Drake's about to perform, and Craig and Eric pull out their cameras. Drake performs a pretty banger song that I gotta admit, it's pretty catchy, it's pretty iconic. The entire crowd is getting jiggy with it, and Drake keeps busting it down for a while. Every Drake and Josh special needs a full-length, uncut musical number. It's in the contract. It simply must be. Drake finishes up, and Krim says he blew his underpants off. Krim says he's going to LA tonight and asks Drake and Josh to meet them there in a few days to talk about a record deal. They're obviously hyped, and Steve starts freaking out again and going after Josh. That's 2 times extremely close together. He only gets 4 a day. He's got to spread them out more. And if he's that upset, Josh should just offer to pay for the food that he ate. Back at home, Megan is actually eating sushi off of Drake's guitar and drops it in the process. Drake's obviously upset, and Megan says she's only doing it because it upsets him. And then the boys flex on her that Drake's going to LA to get a record deal. Megan tells him that he's gonna bomb and go homeless, and then Helen's grandmother shows up and actually kicks in the door. Helen introduces her grandma and then just runs right off. She's not dealing with any of that. It turns out that Megan has to share a room with Drake and Josh because the grandmother is sleeping in in Megan's room, and no one's very impressed about that. No one's happy. Drake and Josh are at the record label in Los Angeles, and Krim and the president of Spin City Records show up for a meeting. They sit down in some vibrating chairs, and Jesus, Josh, what are you doing? These are goddamn professionals, Josh, come on. The president says he's a straight shooter and that he wants a record deal with Drake. He goes on to say that Drake Sneakers wants to use his song in an ad for the Super Bowl. Now, this is pretty sus because they didn't even talk to Drake yet, they didn't sign him, and yet they're sending his song around to people to ask if they want to use it in their advertisements. I mean, they're trying to sell something they don't even have the rights to, but whatever. Drake and Josh proceed to have an aneurysm, I believe. I don't know, it could be a stroke, and the producers just take it as a yes. A silent response is not a yes, all right? Let's get that clear. Cut to Drake and Josh in the studio, and Josh is fucking with the sound engineer. He's eating something and spitting it all over the floor. Let the professionals work, man. The studio heads show up, and Drake comes out to say hello. Frank shows up, and it's Drake's new personal assistant. He doesn't really do much, I just wanted to introduce him, I guess. Drake goes to warm up, and Josh has to go over paperwork and contracts with the president of Spin City Records. Frank throws down some really big shrimp when Josh is trying to go over the contracts, and he's instantly distracted. Josh ends up signing the contracts without even reading them first. He eats his really big shrimp, Drake starts recording, and all is well. Or so it seems. Cut to Drake and Josh back at home. See, LA is a quick drive away from San Diego. This is proof that they didn't have to fly to LA in Drake and Josh Go Hollywood. They could have just driven. It is a quick drive. As seen here, they go back and forth between LA and San Diego multiple times within the span of a couple days. Drake and Josh run off to tell everyone that they just got a record deal, and for some reason they go to their bedroom to see that Megan has completely iCarly-ified it. I mean, look at this and tell me this isn't something iCarly would design. Drake and Josh complain for a while about it, and Megan tells them to cut it out because she left them a small corner air mattress in the room. She blackmails them into not telling their parents, and they sit on their air mattress. Score for Megan. She is a savage through and through. Back at the Premiere movie theater, Helen is about to announce the new assistant manager, and they get a dope-ass gold vest. I gotta be honest, I want to be assistant manager with that kind of vest. Josh is ready to accept his prize, and Helen announces that it's actually Mindy who gets the promotion. Josh, are you really that surprised? You couldn't fix the corn dog machine. You tried for a long-ass time. Mindy shows up, gives it a single try, and it's fixed. She should be manager, buddy. Assistant manager, sorry. Mindy gloats for a little bit, and Josh actually cries about it because Mindy's family is rich and she doesn't need the money. Josh tells her that he's happy they broke up, and Mindy, as his new boss, then tells him to clean the bathroom. Boom. What do you think, Josh? You're gonna insult the person who just was made your boss, buddy? What is this? Back at Spin City Records in LA, the label heads are ready to show Drake and Josh the finished produced version of the song. It starts playing, and it's an absolutely disgusting dubstep remix version of the song from the beginning of the special. Drake hates it and says that they ruined the song. The company says they can do whatever they want because the contract says they have complete creative control. Up until this point, Drake had no idea that Josh signed any contracts at all. The label heads leave the room to give Drake and Josh some privacy, and Drake unleashes his rage on Josh. All Josh can say is that he was mesmerized by giant shrimp. That's all he has to say to defend himself. That's terrible. Drake then fires Josh as his manager on the spot and says he means it. And honestly, I feel the tension. I feel some drama. Drake is kind of giving it right now. They end up splitting up and somehow leaving Spin City Records separately, but they must have gone home together, right? How awkward was that drive? Back home, Drake is cuddling with Josh's foot, and he wakes up screaming. I would too. They beef for a little bit about the record contract, and Helen's grandmother comes in to say she fixed the toilet because earlier when she showed up, she did in fact break the toilet. Also, I just realized feet. Come on, Dan. Dan Schneider and his feet. My God. Back over at the premiere, Josh is scraping used gum off of the tables. Shouldn't have been rude to Mindy, buddy. Craig and Eric show up to give Helen a consultation about recording her wedding, and I think they end up agreeing to do it for $30 or something. I don't know. Helen, do you want it to be good? Back at home, Drake is trying to find Krim's parking spot so he can plant fruit flies in his car. Josh asks what's going on, and Drake storms out of their room. Josh follows him screaming, begging for an explanation for the fruit flies. Drake says they'll lay eggs in his car and they'll live in Krim's car forever. And during all this, Megan is just decorating cakes with her friends for a bake sale. Drake goes on to say, when people play dirty, you gotta play dirty back, and Josh always plays by the rules, and that's why he'll always be a loser. Ouch. Let's be honest. Josh, you playing by the rules is a common theme here, buddy. Look at Drake and Josh Go Hollywood. He was such a stickler for the rules that he put him and his brother's lives in danger with these FBI top 10 most wanted criminals just to turn someone in for the good of humanity. What the hell is that? Back over at Spin City Records, Josh almost deafens the sound producer. Oh my god. He asks for Krim, but the guy tells him that Krim left an hour ago. Josh starts giving his speech, but the producer cuts him off. The Super Bowl is tomorrow, and the lady is on her way to pick up the CDs right now for the commercial. They wouldn't be getting the song the day before the Super Bowl. The commercial would be fully put together in the time slot and ready to air. Why would they purposely leave a giant Super Bowl ad unfinished until 24 hours before the Super Bowl? What if something goes wrong? What if there's an emergency? What if simply the lady who was supposed to deliver the CD crashes her car, the CD breaks, anything? Josh actually goes on to break a couple different laws by switching the original song with the dubstep produced song that was supposed to be in the Super Bowl commercial. So when the lady comes to pick up the CDs, he gives her Drake's original song. Back at home, the family and Helen's grandmother are watching the Super Bowl, and Drake just simply doesn't care. You know, I wish his family would take more interest in him. They should either, one, ask if he is okay and why he isn't excited to see his own commercial, or B, if they already know about all the drama, they should console him and not even have the Super Bowl turned on as to not trigger him. The big commercial's about to play, and Drake said he's heading out to the roof. Josh manhandles him down on the couch and forces him to watch the commercial. The commercial plays and the original song kicks in, and everyone's happy for a few seconds. They start singing along and celebrating, and Drake doesn't understand what's going on. Josh then reveals that he switched the CDs, and Drake is flabbergasted that he learned how to play dirty. Josh then gets a call from Krim. He said switching the songs was illegal. Told you, Josh. A violation of the contract, and that they'll be sued for $5 million and possible prison time. And they just don't really know what to do from here. They kind of just head over to the premiere, and they're just stressing about the situation the whole time. And something that's just kind of crazy, a little goddamn weird, they sprint into the premiere and just start talking as if they were there the whole time. Why the hell did they sprint in like that and then just stop dead in their tracks? What the hell? Everyone starts screaming out of nowhere because Crazy Steve is going berserk. He can't work on Mondays because it's his bad day. He's freaking out, and Helen's about to call the SWAT team, but Josh starts singing to him. Steve reluctantly sings along and starts to calm down while he makes these crazy ass faces that I'm in love with. Steve apologizes and says he wants to stop. How heartbreaking, how sad. He wants to stop, but he just can't. It's like it's against his will. Josh says it's all okay and that he should go drink a carton of milk. Mindy then realizes Josh handled the situation better than her, and she admits she took the job to spend more time with him, but he was taking it more as a competition. She says that she wished that they never broke up, and Josh gets interrupted by Drake. Now hold on a second there. Just because Josh can handle one tiny little weird Crazy Steve quirk does not mean he'd be a better manager. He pissed Crazy Steve off in the beginning of the episode and made him freak out 2 times within a couple minutes. Drake says that the president of Spin City Records just called, and they have to drive up to LA right now. Drake says they shouldn't go, but they end up going anyway. Once they get to the record label, everyone is there waiting for them. They sit down, and the label heads ask them which one switched the song. Drake and Josh both take the blame for it and don't let either of the brothers fall under the bus. How touching. The label heads end up telling them that they could be turned into the FCC and in a ton of trouble for messing with broadcasting, but they're not. They explain the song had so many downloads that it crashed their server and that it's on its way to being a #1 hit. The boys then leave the room and freak out a little bit, then come back in to confirm that they're not in any trouble at all. Back at the premiere, Helen is about to get married, and I think it's just hilarious that she's having her wedding in a movie theater that she manages. The ceremony begins, and Craig and Eric realize there isn't enough light for the cameras. That's what you get for $20 or $30 service. house. They plug in an extra light and it starts a fire instantly. Everyone riots and causes a crush. They cause a crush at the slightest sight of danger. This is not how I would expect loved ones and family members to react to danger. Everyone makes it to the parking lot safely, and Helen is about to murder Craig. Her husband tries to calm her down, and she's upset about the wedding being ruined when the entire building ends up exploding in the background. Josh says that the wedding is about the love and not the location. How cute, Josh. So they finish the wedding in the parking lot. Is anyone going to call the fire department? The place is burning down. The fire could spread. It could go to nearby businesses. It could go to residential areas. Is anyone going to call the fire department? The wedding ceremony is finally finished in the parking lot, and Josh and Mindy feel the love in the air and rekindle their romance and get back together. Drake finds a random girl in the crowd and kisses her so he doesn't feel left out either. Helen gives Josh the gold vest, and Mindy revealed that she actually quit this morning, and Josh instantly puts on the vest as quick as he can. Why did Helen have the vest with her during that entire wedding ceremony? Where was she keeping it? Also, the entire movie theater just burnt down to the ground. What movie theater is he going to be assistant managing at this point? What the hell? Helen steals a guitar from someone and tosses it to Drake and demands him to play his #1 hit song. He dedicates the song to Helen, Buzz, and his manager, Josh Nichols, and he gives a full-ass performance of the song just like he did in the beginning. Everything's a complete cycle. The entire cast and crew jam in the parking lot for a little bit, and back at home, Megan changed Drake and Josh's room back, and she's moving back into her room. Josh notices that Megan and her friends are actually eating some really big shrimp, and she said that the president of Spin City Records actually sent them over. Drake realizes that there's only one shrimp left, and Drake and Josh start fighting over the shrimp. Josh even says at one point that he'll pay him $10 for the shrimp, and Drake is still not giving it up. Drake even drops the shrimp on the floor, gets it back up, and keeps fighting for his life. They're fighting so hard that it triggers a Vietnam flashback to Drake and Josh fighting over a shrimp when they were children on All That, and the credits start to roll. So after watching it again after 17 years, I definitely think Really Big Shrimp is a great Drake and Josh special, but is it a worthy series finale? Well, there are a couple of things I would have changed about this special, and they're some of the same thoughts I had for Drake and Josh Go Hollywood. I wish the special was 25 to 30 minutes longer. I think they could have expanded on the trips to LA and their time at the record label. I also wish they spent some time in New York, because that's where Krim flew in from originally to see Drake perform, and we already spent enough time in LA during Go Hollywood. I also wish they didn't use a laugh track. The lack of a laugh track makes an episode feel more special, for lack of a better term. I feel like it adds a new layer to the humor, and I don't necessarily always want to be told when to laugh. But other than those few minor notes, everything else I have to say about the special is positive. There was a lot of care and love put into the series finale. From the reference to iCarly in the beginning of the special, to the finale ending with a homage to Drake and Josh's origins on All That, every detail of the episode had love and care put into it. Even the title of the episode, Really Big Shrimp, has a deeper meaning when you think about it. The episode title is a reference to Josh getting distracted by the really big shrimp and signing away Drake's creative freedom, causing a massive rift between them. Kids show sitcoms don't generally have titles with meaning. Like, it genuinely seems like a title of a Breaking Bad episode or something. And that's just another little detail that makes this finale stand out. Even the cast list is pretty masterclass. Crazy Steve flipping his shit, Mindy upstaging Josh at every turn, Helen being Helen, Craig and Eric acting like dweebs. Everyone was here. Sure, there may have been a lack of cameos from the past side characters, but most of the heavy-hitting characters are here, and they all get what feels like a proper send-off. Specifically, the dance scene towards the end of the special highlighted all of the characters enjoying each other's company for one last time. It was a bit of a touching scene that reminded me of all of the adventures these characters went on during the series. And after watching this finale again as an adult, I can 110% say that Really Big Shrimp is a worthy finale that perfectly captures the spirit of Drake and Josh as a whole. The jokes are on par with what you'd come to expect from Drake and Josh. You get two epic rock performances from Drake Bell. Check out By the Ocean, by the way, if you want a real Drake Bell banger. And we get to see one final big adventure with the brothers. right? It's the final adventure, right? As far as a Drake and Josh finale goes, I'm not sure you could ask for much more. Drake and Josh Really Big Shrimp is definitely worth a rewatch whenever you get a chance. But watch Drake and Josh Go Hollywood first, because it definitely feels like a pseudo-sequel to that special. But enough of me yapping. Let me know what you guys think. Do you remember this one from back in the day? Also, if you stuck around this long, maybe consider subscribing to support me and checking out my other videos. It would really help. Alright, thanks for listening.